This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
All right, here we go. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, Kenny and I happy to bring you all the latest agribusiness news and features from around the great state of Georgia and maybe the surrounding areas.
Yeah, we have camera, we'll travel. And if you're new to the show, here's how it works. Coming up, challenges and opportunities. Hear how this annual summit explores the vital role of rural communities, infrastructure needs, and the future of agriculture in the state. From city life to farming dreams, meet the couple who turned their inspiration into a thriving agricultural venture.
Plus, love, hard work, and a dream. It's the story of one couple's journey that saw them go from high-flying careers at a major airline to thriving poultry farmers in Macon County, and why they credit family values for much of their success. These stories and so much more right now on the Farm Monitor. Without question, the success of rural Georgia is crucial for the entire state, being that it plays a vital role in providing food and clothing, not only for our state, but also for the entire nation. To support and foster this success, each year the Georgia Chamber of Commerce hosts an annual summit. Our John Holcomb has the story.
Rural Georgia is the lifeblood of our state, and in recent years has seen its fair share of ups and downs, which is why conversations like those at this year's Rural Prosperity Summit are so important. Georgia Chamber's Chris Clark kicked off the event speaking on the recent growth rural areas here in the state have seen, as he believes people have started to see the value in rural areas.
We compare where Georgia was in 2015, 2016, 2017 to where we are today. It's been a remarkable rebound, particularly for rural population. I mean, yes, we still have some counties that have lost some population, but it's a dramatic increase. Whereas 7-8 years ago, we were looking at 140 counties that lost population. Today, you're looking at maybe 40 or 50. So just an incredible return. I think, we don't like COVID. We're not happy about it at all. But one of the good things is it reconnected people to their hometowns, to rural communities, and we're seeing the benefit from that.
However, that growth has created its own set of challenges, like the challenges with our state's infrastructure, to which Clark believes needs continued investment, but needs to be approached and discussed more broadly.
Yes, we're going to need to invest in roads, bridges, railroads, so we can move our goods and products and our commodities to and from the ports. Absolutely vital. Right now, we expect the ports of Brunswick and Savannah to increase by 40 to 50% in the next 10 years. Where's the road infrastructure and the rail infrastructure to move those around? You got to think about broadband. Right now, about 15% of rural Georgians don't have access to high-speed internet. Let's fix that. Let's move it on. I think we also need to think about infrastructure as health care. If we don't have good health care in your communities, you're not going to be there. I'm not going to be there. Young families aren't going to be there. So I just believe we have to think very broadly about infrastructure, but we're going to have some big conversations in Georgia over the next 5 years about how we make these investments.
Of course, you can't have a conversation about rural Georgia without including agriculture, to which Commissioner Harper spoke about the industry's strengths and weaknesses and what needs to change for ag to continue to prosper.
When you talk about rural prosperity, I think you have to understand that agriculture is rural prosperity. Without agriculture, you can't have prosperity in rural Georgia. And there are a lot of challenges, from the retail dollar back to the family farm, the decline we've seen in that, the challenges we see in the labor market and getting the needed labor we need for us to be successful in agriculture. And when you talk about labor, it's labor on both ends of the spectrum. It's labor on the end of the spectrum where we need the help in the fields, but it's also the labor on the technology side and having those that understand the technological advancements we've seen in agriculture. Those challenges are rise in input costs, trade issues, inflation. Those things are things that we face on the farm every single day.
And according to Clark, rural communities and agriculture go hand in hand, and believes that those communities will never thrive unless the state's ag industry remains successful.
If our farmers aren't doing well, our rural communities don't do well. They go hand in hand. I mean, there's no daylight between the two of them. When we see farming do well, when we're seeing farmers and farm families do well, when we're seeing ag processors move into those rural communities, they thrive and do well. When they suffer, like we saw in the 80s and in the early 90s, those communities don't do well. And so I think they're intrinsically linked.
Reporting in Athens for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, UGA's new Poultry Science Building is now officially open for business. At a cost of just over $54 million, the state-of-the-art facility offers modern labs, classrooms, advanced technology, and collaborative spaces for faculty and students alike. Those we spoke with said the building aims to advance poultry science and reinforce UGA's leadership in the field.
We need to have facilities that can help us do cutting-edge research, teach that next generation of students to be leaders in poultry sciences, as well as be able to do seminars and meetings for the industry, for producers as well as processors, to help them advance this major industry for the state of Georgia.
Founded at the height of the pandemic, Blackbird Farm in Marion County was a leap of faith for one couple looking to improve the struggling food supply chain in rural areas. As Damon Jones reports, they now run an operation that can do just that year-round.
With a number of businesses being shut down and the supply chain being disrupted, nearly everyone's way of life has been altered by the pandemic. And that's certainly the case for the owners of Blackbird Farm, as they traded in the hustle and bustle of city life for a long-time dream.
At the beginning of the pandemic, we were living in Metro Atlanta and had been exploring opportunities and ways to possibly get some land of our own, move out. We knew that we wanted to be growers. We knew that we wanted to be invested in agriculture in the state of Georgia. We didn't know what that looked like. So we were exploring a couple different opportunities.
As for what they settled on, that inspiration came from a duck pond they managed in the back of their suburban home.
So I started using plants to help filter the water. And I was like realizing these plants were doing great growing in the water. So I was looking on the internet about things, reading stuff. Aquaponics popped up. I thought, wow, that's really cool. I started doing some research, and I came to Charity and I said, I got an idea. And it may be crazy, but you know, it's something unusual. It's something different.
And from there, they jumped in feet first, putting not only their money, but also spare time into making it a success.
For the most part, it was me, but down here by myself for 3-4 months, putting a lot of bolts and screws and drilling holes in concrete and everything else. The first thing I always tell people is I built this myself. I mean, because it was so much work. And having done that and feeling like it was going to kill me at the time, having it done and being able to actually grow things and see these beautiful plants we can produce has been very rewarding.
That feeling extends to their efforts in the community, where they hope to provide a fresh and nutritious option to this underserved population.
Having a local source of produce, that allows us to give food back to our community through sales or donations or whatever that looks like. And so it creates a local outlet for things that people don't have around here.
Thanks to the closed system and controlled environment hydroponic growing offers, this produce is literally available any time of year.
We grow 365, so that's one of the benefits of the greenhouse, is that we can grow all year long. And when we're thinking about produce being in season, agriculture being in season, our season is 365.
While that is an advantage, it is also a huge responsibility, as there is no off-season. However, it's a way of life they wouldn't have any other way.
There's a lot that we have to take care of. There's a lot that we have to manage, and being involved in every step of the way with that is so exciting, because I'm learning so many different things about plants, but even just so many different ways about how we get that harvest to people. Interacting with the community, I think, is my favorite part.
Reporting from Marion County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Still to come on the show, how urban wood usage is on the rise and the solutions to save discarded wood from landfills.
But first, it's off to Macon County, where a family's unity is fortified by love and their achievements in the poultry industry. However, this devoted couple's journey didn't always revolve around feathered friends. No, in fact, they once had careers centered around a completely different kind of bird.
As farmers, we all know too well how many things can go wrong. As we grow, we learn to trust in people we can count on the most when times is hard. When it comes to mental health, farmers are not sure where to turn. And then we realized we can turn to UGA Extension to help us in more ways than one.
As a resource for farmers, families, and communities across Georgia, we at the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension Service provide resources to help beyond the field, especially in times of stress.
Because we know farming's not easy, but you don't have to do it alone.
Whether you need a helping hand for your farm or your health, we are here for you.
Extension is here to help you.
Just reach out. We're here to help you.
It's a warm, sunny day in Macon County, and the sounds of a busy farm fill the air. From high above, rows of lush crops stretch as far as the eye can see, while in these buildings, chickens cluck and scratch for every last bit of feed. These are the sights and sounds the Terror family has come to know and love. And love is what keeps this family together.
It is really special. We work together every day. My mom fixes lunch for us every day, and many times at supper has the whole family up here.
We work together with 12 poultry houses, and we are able to take some time off when we do have chickens and go take it easy, take a little vacation, do some of the things we want to do, and let others tend to the chickens. I do it. Jason leaves, we take care of his. Daddy leaves, we take care of his. It's a good setup that we have.
The story of the Terror family is one of courage, determination, and spontaneity. In 1971, Tony and Linda Terror were living outside of Atlanta and enjoying successful careers at Delta Airlines. Linda, a flight attendant, Tony, a computer specialist. But one day after visiting family, Tony had an idea that involved ideal.
We had come to visit his parents. We had driven down. And going back, Tony said something about, what if we were to move to Ideal? And I said, Ideal? He said, yeah. He said, let's talk about it and think about it. He said, we want to raise a family. And he said, what do you think about moving there? And by the time we got back to Atlanta, we had decided we wanted to move there.
After 2 or 3 years of living up there, the country life didn't seem so bad after all. No, my job, it was, you work 7 days on day shift, 3 days off, 7 days on evening shift, 3 days off, 7 days on night shift, 4 days off, and that was the end of it. And then you just started all over again. And I love my job. We could fly anywhere we wanted to, but like she said, going back and forth one night to Atlanta, we mentioned about moving down here, and my father and brother was building homes, and I said, well, that would give us a little bit of money if we could build a couple of chicken houses, and that's what we did.
Wow. No regrets?
No regrets.
At a time when farming was becoming increasingly difficult due to changing markets and technological advances, the Terrors were undaunted. They invested everything they had in their chicken houses and worked tirelessly to make them a success. Today, their operations are thriving, and they're known throughout the area for their high-quality production in birds. So much so that in 2020, Jason was Tyson's Producer of the Year for the South Georgia Complex. Linda, on the other hand, undoubtedly emerges as the driving force behind the entire operation. Despite being in her 70s, she pilots a tractor with ease and anchors everyone with her unwavering determination. And no matter who you ask, Tony, Jason, or Scott, they all agree Linda possesses more drive and grit than all three combined.
She's a seasoned veteran. She knows what she's doing, doesn't she?
Yes, she is. We couldn't do it without her. We've had occasions where she's had other plans when we've been placing chickens, and one of us has to get back on the tractor, pull it up a little bit. We start dumping chickens again, stop the tractor, get off, and it's just a cycle, and it just works a lot better when everybody's working together.
I'm so blessed to have the family that we have, because, I mean, you know, a lot of families just don't get along at all. And we have our discussions that maybe we want to go there, but you can't go. You got to take care of your chickens. That's the main concern.
So in a world where so many people are disconnected from the land and from each other, the Terror family is a reminder of the power of hard work, determination, and sacrifice. It's a story that inspires and encourages others to pursue their own dreams, no matter how difficult they may seem. Because quite frankly, the Terrors are living the American dream.
Absolutely. Yes. We have our health, which, you know, I'll look around and see people. I just turned 75, and Tony will be 77 in September, and our health is wonderful. We're very blessed with our children, our health, and, you know, that's not to say what tomorrow might bring. You only promise today. And all of our children are very active in their churches, and as we are, and, you know, I just thank God for everything we have.
To be with your family and to work hard, be involved in our local church, that to me is the American dream, and doing what you love and loving what you do.
Great job, Ray, and thank you so much. Now, when we come back, unlock the secrets of urban wood utilization and see the growing trend to save our wood from landfills.
Every year, more and more people move into urban areas, and as those areas grow, so does the importance of maintaining a healthy urban tree canopy and smart use of that wood when the trees have to come down. Currently, most of this wood goes straight to landfills, stripping the wood and the community of economic and sustainable opportunities. A tree story doesn't have to end when it falls. There are three main challenges to improving urban wood utilization: a general lack of awareness, logistical challenges of getting the wood where it needs to go for processing, and then finding enough end users for the wood.
So urban wood utilization came on our radar probably about 10 years ago or so. This is a newer industry, but it's a growing industry. There's a lot of interest in this.
One of the main ways we get rid of trees on development sites and land clearing activities is putting them in municipal landfills. So we're really working to try to reduce that waste stream and find a higher and better use for those trees that maybe have to come down. We just got to get the wood to the right places.
To spread awareness and encourage better urban wood usage, the Georgia Forestry Commission and Georgia Arborist Association joined forces to arrange an event at UGA's Griffin campus in July of 2023. Industry stakeholders from across the state were invited to hear from experts who shared both challenges and best practices throughout the day. Many of the challenges can be addressed by networking and regular communication.
There's approximately 1,100 other tree services in the area. Getting around like-minded individuals that share a passion for doing things a sustainable, proper, safe way, and that are looking to really change the nature of the industry for more sustainable effort is something it's very encouraging, very encouraging.
My name is Sim Zakoff, and I'm the founder and owner of U-Tree. Our niche is that we take urban wood and we repurpose it into value-added products mostly for surface coverings, but also for lumber. You know, the goal is finding the best use for our urban wood, as well as keeping that material out of the landfills.
So before I became a sawyer, I was a lawyer. And I got the bug in 2014 when I milled up my first log. And then from then on, I could not stop seeing all the logs that weren't being used. When I drove by one construction site after another or down trees after a storm, it was driving me crazy that no one was using those logs to turn them into amazing stories and furniture.
Rather than seeing this wood enter into our landfills, we can adopt urban wood utilization to start to repurpose that wood to its highest economic value. You're going to see more diverse wood species with the ability to work with. And they can also have some unique characteristics, things like different grain patterns and colors that might be more interesting to a consumer. And that might be more interesting for our secondary producers as well. These are like our woodworkers, furniture manufacturers, and any kind of wood artisan.
The more people see urban wood and reclaimed wood being used, I feel like they're coming up with more and more ideas for how it can be applied, the types of products that they want to see it in. And we feel like it's its own natural cycle where the more people are seeing that wood used, they're coming back to us with more ideas, more designs and more applications of using urban wood.
Attracting end users, from designers and architects to residential homeowners, can be encouraged by a set of standards that gives the buyers assurance that the products are reliable. Jennifer Alger from USRW, Urban Salvaged and Reclaimed Wood Incorporated, has helped create a set of standards for urban wood.
The standards are to answer one question that specifiers had of how do we know it met this criteria? How do we know it's chain of custody? Show me a certificate so that I don't have to worry.
The event at UGA's Griffin campus was a big step forward for urban wood utilization in Georgia. The day was packed with over 40 attendees who learned about the challenges and solutions for increasing awareness of urban wood utilization, expanding the uses of urban wood, and reducing landfill waste. In addition, many important connections were made thanks to the generous speakers and exhibitors.
One of the things I'm very thankful for today is I was able to bring my 21-year-old son, who got the opportunity to see that what we do isn't just in our little world. There's a world much bigger than us that does some amazing work with urban lumber.
It's truly an honor to be a part of this group of people. We have people from the forestry departments, we have tree companies, both large and small here, and being able to network with these people and the brains and the ideas for the future of what urban wood use looks like is very exciting to me.
Just a really unique opportunity for the Forestry Commission to utilize our foresters in an urban setting and be able to connect with this community and tell the story of forestry and help them connect with us, so that way we can be a good resource and help them manage their urban forest in a sustainable way.
If wood from a tree can be used for lumber, we want to promote that. That's for higher and better use, and it also sequesters carbon for a long-term period.
Urban and community forests provide a huge amount and plethora of benefits to the community, to the residents that live in that community, and urban wood utilization just kind of closes that loop. It provides one more opportunity for us to make it a holistic approach to managing our community forests.
To find out more about urban and community wood utilization, future gatherings like this, and a developing urban wood database, be sure to check the websites and social media platforms of the Georgia Forestry Commission, the Georgia Arborist Association, and the Southern Group of State Foresters.
Before we go, I want to let you know that if you missed any of our reporter features on today's show, do not sweat it. You can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel. And hey, while you're there, hit subscribe. Once you start scrolling, you're going to find everything from instructional videos to research, as well as heartwarming human interest stories. And don't forget about our Facebook page. Take the time to like it as well. And if you have a story idea, or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, send us a message either on Facebook or at the address on your screen. That is news@farm-monitor.com.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. For Ray, myself, and everyone here at the show, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time here on the Farm Monitor. Thanks for watching, everybody.